else. All too soon, we find ourselves outside the girls' dormitory building.
Well, I guess I'll be going then.
I guess so, huh? Emmy gazes at me again with a mysterious look.
Are you going to be able to survive without me?
I laugh. I'm sure I'll manage.
How terrible. Aren't you supposed to say something like, I'll count the seconds for you are away?
Nah, I don't think so. Emmy pulls me down into a quick goodbye kiss and steps back, looking unexpectedly shy.
Thanks for dinner. I really had fun. Honestly, I did.
So did I. I think we shall have to do it again sometime. Emmy laughs at my deadpan delivery and nods.
See you bright and early tomorrow morning, right? You've got to run off that bread after all.
Of course, despite the fact that you ate most of it.
Yes, despite that. See you later, Sao.
As Emmy turns to head inside, I notice something weird. Something so weird that I'm surprised I didn't notice it before. She's limping slightly, favoriting the left leg. Hey, Emmy. Is your leg okay? Emmy looks confused, or at least faking confusion.
What are you talking about?
Your right leg. You're limping. There's a brief flash of concern on Emmy's face. Either she didn't want me to know, or she didn't think I'd notice, or I prefer to think she just didn't realize it.
Oh, that.
She shrugs casually.
Must have gotten knocked a little out of alignment during the picnic. No idea what would have caused that, of course.
I think back to being pinned against the tree. You should have told me. We could have stopped and fixed it, you know. And he waves a hand airily.
Nah, it's not that big of a deal. Don't worry about it, okay, Hisao? It's fine.
Why do I get the feeling that she's convincing herself as well as me? Press on me. Are you absolutely sure? You don't want to go ahead and adjust it before heading up the stairs? You could get hurt if you don't, right?
I said it was fine, Hisao. Seriously, don't worry about it. I've got some experience in this matters after all.
Yeah, I suppose so. Emmy grins reassuringly.
Honestly, Hisao, I appreciate the concern, but I really am okay. No, really, I need to get going. Your attempts to keep me around are doomed to fail.
Heh, of course. Just prolonging the goodbye, I suppose. And the grin lights up Emmy's face.
Good night, Hisao.
Good night. As she limps inside, I find myself hoping she's okay despite assurances that she's fine. I think I could call this a successful first date. Hell, any day that ends with Emmy pinning me up under a tree to kiss me can't be bad, can it? I head back to my room, mentally thanking the gods that Kenji didn't ambush me in the hallway, and get started on my homework. The morning is far too early for my taste. It doesn't help that I had trouble sleeping last night. There were simply too many things to think about. My mind refused to slow down. Instead, I replayed the rooftop, the park, and everything else over and over in my mind. A small part of my mind that is still paranoid that this has all been some kind of joke. Now, I'll meet up with Emmy at the track, and she'll act like nothing happened yesterday. Pushing those thoughts to the back of my head, I throw on my running clothes and open the door. Emmy's waiting for me with her usual smile.
You're late. Or at least you're not early today. Are you tired or something?
I find myself ruefully rubbing the back of my head. Something like that, yeah. Lots to think about and all that. Emmy goes on my mild understatement.
Yeah, I didn't sleep that well either. I was actually glad you weren't early, because I wasn't early either.
I wonder if the same thing kept us awake. The image of her weeping face passes through my mind. What kept you up? Emi's expression falters, but she quickly notices my curiosity and forces a smile.
Nothing important.
She's obviously not telling me something. The question is, should I press the issue? Something's clearly been bothering her for a while. I want to help her, but would it just come off as being nosy? She's got to know I care about her, though. Are you sure? If something's bothering you, I am here to help you sort it out. Emi laughs then, but it's not her usual laugh. There's an edge to it that seems almost bitter.
Sort it out? I'm not sure if it can be sorted out, Sao.
An almost grinned smile crosses her lips. It's like a smile of resignation.
I don't think you could help me anyway.
That hurts. I don't want to say that it hurts her, but it does. Doesn't she realize I want to be there for her when things go wrong? Well, I won't push you any on the matter. But I'm here for you if you decide later that you'd like to talk about it. It might help. I can see the debate raging behind Emi's eyes. It seems like she wants to tell me, but she's not sure whether or not she can. Hey, forget about it for now, okay? We've got running to do. The mention of running something that she can handle brings Emi back to her usual self.
Right. Hurry up and stretch out, Hisao. We've got to get moving.
She takes off like a shot, far quicker than I'm used to. Still, I try to keep pace with her, recklessly testing my limits. It gives me a feeling of freedom, like my heart is no longer important. I find myself wanting to laugh, filled with the feeling of moving beyond what I once called my boundaries. Nurse's warnings to not overdo things echo in my mind, and I disregard them. This feeling I have, this willingness to risk my heart attack for something so trivial as a morning run, feels out of character for me. But is it? Or rather, should it be? I've got a weak heart, sure. It'll never be capable of the kind of speed and endurance Emi is capable of. Though I probably shouldn't be able to get that good even if I had a healthy heart. As we round the final bend, I feel my legs screaming in protest, but for the first time I ignore them. I accelerate to finish at a sprint, nearly catching up to Emi. That was never going to happen, of course. Still, I feel surprisingly good. Oh sure, my legs feel like they're about to catch on fire.
Burn, baby, burn.
I'm just having trouble staying upright. But there's been a shift of some sort today. And it's all thanks to the girl grinning at the finish line, waiting for me. I felt a little faster than usual. My comment is met with a grin and a shrug.
Can't have you think I was going to go soft on you now, can I? But you managed to handle it just fine.
Well, I couldn't have done it without you. Still feeling the high from the run and moving by a surge of gratitude, I seize Emi in a hug. Thanks. Really, I'm not just saying that. I'm in your debt. Emi seems flustered by my words, squirming uncomfortably.
Don't be silly, Hisao. Someone had to haul you out here, didn't they? It's not like you're not doing anything for me, right? I needed a running partner, remember?
I shake my head, so pointedly not letting go of Emi, who stops squirming and merely looks up at me with a quick, deepening blush that almost seems out of character. No, that's not true. You wanted a running partner, but you didn't need one. If I hadn't shown up the day after the festival, you would still run, right? But it doesn't work the other way around. I only managed to make it out a few times before the festival, and without you, I probably wouldn't have made it out at all after that. Emi smiles at me and prods my chest with one finger.
You were pretty lazy, Hisao.
Hey, I was giving you a compliment.
Well, you're welcome, I guess.
I'll pay you back somehow.
Oh, well, that's not necessary, you know. I mean, I kinda like you, Hisao. And being able to run with you in the mornings isn't exactly a bad deal for me either, so
For someone who gets so much praise, she seems unused to gratitude. I can't think of anything else to say, so we fall silent. I become aware of Emi's breathing, and of the dampness of her clothes, and of the scent of her. Coming off of anyone else, it would stink. Coming off of Emi, it fits her in the way nothing else could. Even I find that a little disgusting. A little bit. Her skin is cool, slick with sweat, and a breeze causes goosebumps to rise. A little bit. Almost without thinking about it, I lean down and meet Emi's mouth, which has already moved to meet my own. Her lips are soft, and she hums happily as we kiss, sending vibrations from her mouth to mine. There's a startling rightness to everything about this moment. We fit one another perfectly. The kiss ends, and I finally let my arms back to my sides. Emi is smiling warmly at me and giggles again.
Come on, Hisao. We'd better go see the nurse.
Then it happens. As she turns to begin walking, she gives out a tiny yelp and stumbles forward. Emi! I leap to steady her and notice with some concern that she's favoring the same leg as last night. Your leg. Emi sees panic and pushes away from me.
It's fine.
My expression must seem hurt because she hastens to apologize.
Sorry. Didn't mean to push you like that. I was just...
She stumbles for something to say.
It's nothing really.
Hey, don't worry about it. She's so flustered I decide to shrug the whole thing off. But there's a cold feeling in the pit of my stomach now that won't go away. I tried to step in and help her. She pushed me away. Smiling, I shove those thoughts to the back of my mind and concentrate on Emi. I just don't want you getting hurt, that's all.
You don't have to worry about me, honest. I'm fine.
Yes, you say that, but I don't believe you. Why won't you tell me what's wrong? It's like she gets offended by my trying to help. What am I supposed to make of that? I'm still trying to sort out what happened on the track as we arrive in front of the nurse's office. Emi raises her hand to knock, hesitates, and turns to me smiling guiltily.
Hey, can you do me a favor?
Of course.
Can you tell the nurse that I'll see him later? I just remember that I've got some stuff to take care of before class. So I really need to get moving.
I peer at her closely and she fidgets under my stare. Yeah, she's clearly just avoiding the nurse. That leg of hers. Well, whatever. I said I'd help and so I will. But I'll make damn sure she sees the nurse before the day's out. Yeah, okay. I'll let him know. Emi looks like I've just given her a pony on Christmas.
Thank you so much. You're the best, Hisao.
I'm rewarded for my complicity, I think that's the word how to say it, in her lie by a kiss that makes it all worth it. And so I tell myself, okay, skip that. Blah, blah. As Emi heads out of the building, trying hard not to let her limp show, I knock on the door of the office. Ah, Hisao, come on in. I don't see Emi with you. She's not sick again, is she? From the tone of his voice, I don't think the nurse is expecting me to say, yes, she's ill. She said that she'd forgotten to do something, and so she had to skip out, but she'll see you later today. The nurse heaves an exasperated sigh. Honestly, that girl. She's been avoiding me. Yesterday, she was in and out of here without even taking off her prosthetics. And now this. Well, at least it's not just me Emi doesn't want worrying. That's a comfort, I guess. Still, I feel like I should say something about her leg. I said I'd lie for her, but she really needs to see him. Now that you mention it, she was limping pretty badly today. And last night as well. Nurse's eyes narrowed to the words last night. What exactly are the two doing last night? We were, on a date. Nurse raises eyebrows as if surprised. Really? Interesting. Huh? Oh, nothing. His gaze turns thoughtfully and then he grins at me. You don't think you could use some of that boyfriend charm to get her to come see me today, could you?
Of course.
I was planning on doing that anyway. I think she's really hurt and just pretending she isn't. Yes, she does that. Afraid I'll make her stop running. Will you? I don't like to, but if it's bad enough that she's been limping well, I guess I'll have to see what's wrong for myself before I make that call. I see. Emmy, not allowed to run? Perish the thought. I don't know if she'd be able to function without running. No wonder she's reluctant to admit anything's wrong. Well, I'll make sure she sees you. Good! Oh, and before I forget. He grins at me again in what feels like a vaguely threatening manner. Don't forget that I know what medications you're on. You'd be careful around Emmy. Got it? Wow, you look serious too. Got it. Don't hurt Emmy. Wouldn't dream of it. Grand! I'd hate for you to be late. Huh? Late, as in the late Hisao Nakai. He frowns briefly, dissatisfied. Sounded better in my head. Well, at any rate, get out of here before you miss your first class. You got things to do, I'm sure. Shoo! Go away! Get out of my office. Nurse's office. Out! As I leave, I notice the nurse pulling out his phone and dialing a number. Mikao, your daughter's being a pain in the ass again. I better head back to my room or I really will be late. Hey, wasn't he supposed to check my heart rate? The lunch bell sounds and I bring myself out of the stupor I slipped into during the morning classes. My lack of sleep last night, coupled with the increased pace of this morning's run, has left me a little exhausted. Despite that, I find myself skipping upstairs up to the roof. There's a thrill of excitement now, in addition to the pleasure one gets from eating lunch with one's friends. True, both Emmy and Rin are still my friends, but Emmy has become more than that now. Rin is back in a usual spot on the roof, almost as if she'd never been absent. Feeling better, I take it? A raised eyebrow is my reward for speaking. Better than what? Better than you felt yesterday. Rin gives my question some serious thought. I'm not sure. I think I might have felt rather good for someone of yesterday, but it's a little fuzzy. It's all fuzzy. Too much cold medicine? Well, I was asleep, and it usually is pretty good. But I can't remember what it feels like to be asleep, because I'm not conscious for it. It's a real problem. Then again, if I know how good it felt, I might not sleep anymore. But this way I keep trying, so I guess that's how I can keep from being overtired. An eternal mystery to keep you sleeping at night? Maybe mystery is the wrong word. Intangibility might be a proper way to describe it. I see. No, I don't see at all. Who gets Rin anyway? I have no idea what she's talking about, but that's okay, since I rarely do. Do you remember what sleeping feels like? Like yesterday, do you remember what you felt like sleeping yesterday? Well, I actually didn't get a lot of sleep yesterday. Maybe that's because you remember subconsciously. Actually, I think I was worried about Emmy. Is Emmy worrying enough about herself? I hadn't considered that, but it gives me pause. True, but would she ask for help if she needed it? Rin frowns and I raise an eyebrow. Will I get a proper answer? Probably not. Is there something she should be asking for help with? Her leg, for starters. It seems to catch Rin's interest. Leg? It hurts, but she won't see the nurse about it. Rin shakes her head in disapproval. You have to make her. Like she makes me go to class for her own good. Otherwise she could lose her legs again, and that's just too weird. Losing things twice. Especially if you don't find them again to begin with. Unless prosthetics are the same as finding something. But there's a different kind of loss, isn't it? I think so. I wonder.
Wonder what?
Emi seems to have snuck up on Rin and I, though Rin doesn't seem especially surprised, which is itself unsurprising, I suppose. Rin manages to sit herself upright, quite expertly, throwing her upper body forward and using her momentum to right herself. Your leg, how's it feeling? That earns me a frown and a bit of a glare.
It's okay, I think. Not worth worrying about.
Tell that to the nurse. He's quite insistent that you visit him, you know. And he pouts like I've just told her she's been grounded.
He worries too much. It's not a big deal, just a little soreness.
I try to resist rolling my eyes in aspiration. Yes, aspiration, I think that's how you pronounce it. If it's nothing, then you should have no problem seeing him, right? Emi narrows her eyes suspiciously.
Did he put you up to this?
Well, maybe. A little. But that's not the point. I would have reminded you to see him anyway. It would be terrible to see you really hurt and not doing anything about it. That would make it worse, and I don't really want to see you hurt, you know. Call me crazy, but I kind of would prefer to see you happy and healthy. With each statement, Emi's frown fades a little more until eventually she's grinning, albeit a little shyly.
Well, if you're going to put it that way, then I guess I'll have to see him. Otherwise, you'll keep worrying and then I'll never hear the end of it, right?
That's right. I'll keep bugging you about it, and that might put a damper on our dates. How's the food, Hisao? Talk to the nurse, Emi. How's your date, Hisao? Talk to the nurse, Emi. Hisao, I think I'm ready to go all the...
Talk to the nurse, Emi!
See? It doesn't work that well. I think I'm ready to go all the way.
Talk to the nurse, Emi!
I think I'm ready to talk to the nurse, Emi. Emi giggles at my high-pitched rendition of her own voice and gives me an affectionate shove.
My voice isn't that high, jerk. Can't you tell by my voice right now?
I thought it was pretty accurate. That face. I stare at Rin for a while before I burst into laughter. Emi crosses her arms and huffs, mock offended. I'm sorry, but that would be hilarious if Rin just did that out of nowhere.
You're both jerks.
Such vile calumnies from you, young woman. I'm stunned that you could call me, of all people, a jerk. Honestly, I don't know what to think. Emi sticks her tongue out at me.
You ass. So Rin, how's the art club these days?
Rin, seemingly as surprised by this sudden change of topic as I am, takes a minute to think before answering.
I believe it is okay. Although, the Mia keeps telling me to work harder.
Wrong voice, but I don't think he understands my methods.
He already stuck me as slightly creepy.
Rin ponders this statement for a while. I've never really noticed. But I don't pay much attention to him most days, so maybe that's why. How often do you meet?
Think of joining, Hisao?
What? Nah, I've already decided to join a club.
Really? Which one?
Well, it's not really much of a club, to be honest.
Oh, you joined the tea club?
Oh, that's rude. No, I joined the science club, I think. Emi looks highly confused.
We have a science club?
Not really, it's just me.
Hisao, that's not a club. That's sitting in a room reading books.
No, I meant it's just me and Matao. I'm just the only student so far.
Matao? Really? Mutao.
A thought strikes her.
Oh, is that what you were talking about yesterday? Your meeting with Matao?
Yeah, that was our first meeting, I guess. Emi giggles.
Nerd! Nerd!
Hey, I can't help being clever. Oh, the jokes. The jukes.
You know, I could have helped used your help years ago. Should have had your heart attack earlier in life, Hisao.
I laugh and then realize this is probably one of the very rare times I've laughed about my heart attack. Hindsight.
Yeah.
The ring of the bell ends our conversation. Guess we better go.
Yeah, I guess so. Come on, Rin, you too.
Rin has apparently begun to doze off, so Emmy gives her a sharp bump. I almost had it.
Sorry, but you need to go to class.
I disagree, but maybe if I nap in class, I'll get it this time. Changing location is something helpful for that kind of thing. Neither Emmy or I bother asking what it is. As we arrive at my classroom, Emmy gives me a quick kiss and heads down the hallway, Rin in tow. I forgot what voice I did for Misha. I turn to enter the classroom to be met by the duo of Shizune, I hate you, and Misha. Misha seems to be fighting a losing battle to keep from breaking into a fit of giggles while she translates Shizune's latest rant. While we are pleased, nay thrilled, to see how well you've managed to make new friends and forge relationships, and with such a cutie too, Hee-chan.
Rank ones.
I think that last part was probably Misha. We nevertheless feel compelled to politely remind you that public displays of affection are strictly forbidden. Alright, that's disappointing, Shi-chan. By Section 8 of the Code of Conduct laid out in the student handbook. In this case, however, ignorance of the law may be your excuse, as we are feeling lenient. And the paperwork required to punish both of you would only add to the already mountainous volumes of work which comforts us. The sole members of the student council, and besides, you two are adorable together. Therefore, considering this a formal warning, and please refrain from such displays in the future, at least when Shizune can see you, Hee-chan. This would... now my throat hurts a little from doing that. Surprisingly, doing the voice of Rin is completely okay for me, but doing the voice for her is completely... kinda hurts a little. I don't know why. And Emmy, too. This would spiel as so patiently ridiculous that I can't help but reply in the same pompous manner. Well, I for one feel enlightened. I apologize profusely for my rash actions and will strive to contain my faster impulses, which I fear impel me towards such inappropriate displays of public affection. It is hardly my wish to burden an already overworked student council with such petty matters, and will do my best to make your lives easier in this matter in the future. Oh man, he does exactly what I do when I'm bored and just want to mess with somebody. I just act all proper and stuff. At least when Shizune is watching. This last line is delivered with a wink to Misha, who finally loses control of her laughter. Wahaha! Wahaha! Well said, Hee-chan. Chuckling a little myself, we enter the classroom. Class is uneventful, and after the final bell rings, I find myself alone with Tao again. So, it looks like we've all assembled for the second meeting of the Science Club. Or is it the first? What do you think? Should we count yesterday as a meeting? Well, we did form the club yesterday, didn't we? That seems like club business, so we can safely call yesterday a meeting. Mattel smiles in his usual stilted and awkward way. I wonder if the muscles in his face are just not shaped correctly to let him smile naturally. Really do have a knack for this, I think. Logical thought processes, that is. I guess so. Oh! Ooh, that came out wrong. A scientist spreads with authority, Hisao. Your answer here is, yes, I do. When the world wants to know how it works, we tell it. Even if all we've got is a decent hypothesis. But we must sound certain anyway, because we're the authorities on the subject, right? He chuckles to go along with his awkward smile at his awkward joke. I'm doing my best not to grimace, but I don't think I'm doing too successful. That's entirely false, of course. We know a lot, sure, but nobody's an expert on how the world works. If only because nobody can be sure. With no certainty, there are no experts. But we like to pretend sometimes.
Stephen Hawking.
There's some things we can be certain of, right? Yes, but no. We know gravity's there, for example. To illustrate, Mitao picks up a pencil and drops it. See? Still there. But it's good to check every once in a while. That's why you'll still see researchers mucking about with gravity. We're pretty sure we know how it works, but there's always a chance that something isn't how we think it is. So you check and check and check. That's science in a nutshell, Hisao. The whole time I've listened feeling rather spellbound. Mitao seems to really be passionate about this stuff, I think. It's hard to tell sometimes. How the world works. How humans work. How the universe works. All these questions to be answered. And depending on what I go into, maybe I could even figure out a way to fix my art. That said, I don't think that's a real priority for me. Besides, as we start discussing the book he gave me yesterday, I find myself more and more interested in that than my heart condition. Before we even realize it, an hour has gone by. Well, let's call this meeting over for now, okay? We'll have another meeting tomorrow or the day after. He considers this for a moment. Call it the day after. I've got a lot of grading to do. Okay, see you then. As I exit the classroom, I realize that I don't really have anything to do tonight. I mean, I didn't make plans, so I guess I'll go to the library. It beats having homework in my room anyway.